We were like lots of families in Rhyl. We were a poor family. Dad was a labourer on the council, and then to earn a bit of extra money he'd go salmon fishing at night. He'd spend the whole night on the beach with his nets. Here was always the highest tide, so when there was a high tide due we'd all come to round that area and watch the waves coming up, you know, simple things. And then you've got the paddling pool, which was free, or we'd go to the fun fair and you could smell the donuts, and it was just a very happy childhood. Incredible really, just in this sort of few hundred metres of Rhyl. We didn't have the money to do lots of things, but on reflection now, everything seemed accessible to us. There was lots of excitement for families that didn't have an awful lot. I feel really lucky the period that I grew up in Rhyl. I can't explain it really, but people that have been brought up in Rhyl, we are so passionate about Rhyl. And we know that Rhyl has its difficulties, but it doesn't take away that passion that people have, and wherever they go in the world, it's Rhyl where my heart is. So we're very conscious of the fact that young people are living in Rhyl now and see very much the surroundings and Rhyl as it is. And part of what we want is to show them what happened in the past. It's not about dwelling in the past, but it's about just showing them the same town, what it has achieved and what it could achieve again.
When I was in Emmanuel School, my report every year used to say, Duncan has a wonderful sunny disposition. And I couldn't remember what it was, and I think my dad told me one day, it means that you're a happy little chap, you know, and you're just happy with life, and you're always going to entertain, and to be honest, that's what I have done all my life. Coming down to the marine lake, you know, going on the rides, calling up my nines, because my nine used to work on all the rides in the marine lake and the fair, and we used to go and have a look on the mantelpiece, and there'd be like a little note saying, I'm on the river caves today, I'm on the ghost train or the little train, and of course we'd get a free ride. Well, I just love Rhyl, and I've got so many friends in Rhyl, man. It annoys me when people give derogative comments about Rhyl, because it's just a wonderful town. It's my life. It's been my life, Rhyl. And I will never, ever leave Rhyl.
There's a story to be told there, and it's a very personal story for us that my father actually recorded all this so people could see it for the future. A dramatic incident really happened in his life. When he was 46, he got struck down by arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and just one day lay on the couch and couldn't get up, and that was it. So for the next 15 years, he was quite poorly with his arthritis, but he'd always been a really enthusiastic historian. He'd always liked to do a bit of drawing and painting, and so the next thing was for him to actually draw these ships in the accurate dimensions. So for him it was a record of what the ships actually were. When I look at the paintings, I remember Dad finally got a little room upstairs and he was able to go there and paint when he felt well enough. I was really proud that he was able to make what is an important record. So in some ways, although he was suffering and you wouldn't have wanted him to have an illness like that was so painful, he was able to enjoy being creative and doing something that he loves.
It was a couple of years before Dad passed away. I always used to go around on a Sunday morning for a chat with Mum and Dad, and I used to say to Mum and Dad, well, you know, what's going to happen if something happens to you and Mum? And Dad used to say, oh, don't worry son, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. And I was upstairs one day and I looked on top of the wardrobe and I saw thousands and thousands of pockets. There was thousands of them. And I came down, I said to Dad, I said, what are all those photos, Dad? He said, they're just buildings I've taken photos of over the years. And I said, well, what's going to happen to them? He said, well, you can have them, son. You know, if something happens to me, you can have them. So, when Dad passed away, I was on top of the wardrobe, wasn't I? And I was collecting them all, and there was thousands of them. You know, with our parents and on the reso and Rhyl, it was fantastic. It's just wonderful to look back on them. Nothing should be forgotten. It's a wonderful town. And it still is a wonderful town. My last job was on the buses. I started taking pictures of developments in Rhyl, similar to what my dad must have been doing years ago. I've got all the memories in my head, but I've also got all the memories in photos and videos and newspaper cuttings. I know everything about Rhyl. If anybody wants to know anything about Rhyl, ask me. I'm your man.
I hope it will inspire young people not to perhaps accept what's happening now, but also to work to make Rhyl a vibrant and exciting place as it used to be. Especially at this moment in time, the creative industries is a real opportunity for young people to get real jobs, and I think there just needs to be some investment in the area for the facilities which will allow young people to train. That talent is in Rhyl, but I think there is a duty from people in authority looking at every child in Rhyl particularly and helping them to reach their potential. If anything happens to us, my father's collection could end up in a skip, quite seriously. And that will happen with a lot of people, but there is enough out there for Rhyl to have a museum, and we just need people with vision.
I would love there to be a museum in Rhyl so that I can show not only my photos and videos and memorabilia, but anybody else could. You know, I think it's important that we keep the history of Rhyl. All these places, the pavilion, you know, the floral hall, the Rhyl baths, the fair, the Rhyl Lake. You know, it should never be forgotten. You know, it should never be forgotten. And Rhyl today is a wonderful town.